This is today's agenda. Let's keep a protocol over here that if you have any questions in between the webinar, you can ask all the questions after this session. We will have 10 to 15 minutes of time for question and answer round. So keep noting down your questions and we will take questions after the webinar. So multitasking model. When Windows 8 was designed, it was designed keeping in mind the consistent battery life. We wanted to have a proper battery usage model which did not kill system if you have tens and thousands of applications running together or if you had one application running. So to provide a great user experience and to ensure consistent battery life, Windows 8 app lifecycle was designed. When we talk about Windows 8 app lifecycle, there are two concepts called suspend and resume, which are of very high importance. So if you open one application in the screen, and after that if you open few more applications, the previous application goes into the suspend mode, which means that the previous applications whose pixels are no more in the screen does not use any CPU resources or any CPU cycle. So in this case, all the resources, CPU resources, the system resources are given to the applications which are running on the foreground. So apart from that, but users have certain scenarios which requires the app to run when they are in the suspended mode or when they are in the background or when they're not in the foreground. So such scenarios which require apps to run in the real time or such applications which is required to run and provide the real-time content can do so in many ways, like live tiles, which is nothing but pushing off notifications into the tiles and updating the tiles so that user can look into that. Schedule toast and notifications, also when the application is in the suspended mode, notifications can be given in the form of toast or batch. Background transfer and background tasks. So here is where background tasks come into picture. When we want to execute certain code in the application which is not on the screen or which is suspended, we can do using background tasks. So as a part of introduction of background task, what I would like to bring your attention to is that background task allows application to run the code in the background. That means there is a certain characteristics related to it. It has to be a very short running task which performs some certain activity or which runs and give you some kind of output and then go away. We cannot have a very long running task, or we cannot have the services to be completely running and then giving you certain output in the background task mode. Third will be run regardless of the state of the app, which means that if your application terminates, if you have scheduled your background tasks such that it should run in every interval irrespective of the state of the application, it should do so, and it should perform under the strict resource usage quota. Since these application runs in the background and we want Windows 8 to use the system resources properly so that we can conserve, so that we can use the battery properly and not overuse it, or so that it gives a bad user experience, we have decided that we'll give a particular resource quota for each background tasks which run. If the application overdo the resource quota, we send them a cancellation and they have to cancel the background and terminate. If they're at par with their resource quota, then it's fine. They can run properly. So these background code, there's nothing very different in these background tasks. They can run as a simple. They can run as your application would run. They can execute the same task as your application is executing. Just that they should be short running tasks and they should not overuse the resources. They should be they should be at par with the resource quota. So what can you do in a background task? Like I mentioned,